Good morning, welcome to Ag Talking to Raw, where I talk raw about agriculture, and other things that are on my mind. So I've got my little guy here. He's getting big. He doesn't like it when I talk too much. He sticks his hand in my face like this. He's like, "Dad, stop it." Anyway, right? Is that you? Anyway, so yeah, I was talking with another YouTuber, agricultural YouTuber. And that particular person said to me that, you really need to come out and visit one of these shows that's out here in, the Midwest, say Illinois. I was planning on going to the Ag Progress show in, Decatur, Illinois. But you know how things go on a hay farm. I'm sure if Bales Hay is watching this, he'll understand 100% that it is very difficult for a hay farmer in the summertime to break away and go to these shows. I really wanted to go, but I took on another contract baling corn fodder down in Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and that just took my time and sliced it into a third of the time that I would normally do my hay crop in. Has to be done. It's got to be done now. Now we're over 8,000 bales baled. We're over 8,000 bales baled. I expect to top off at around 10,000 bales, but we have to do that in the next 4 or 5 days. So I have to get this next 1,000 bales baled. Very difficult to do this job when there's rain showers about. We had thunderstorms last night, a little bit of rain. Not too god-awful bad. I actually mowed in the rain yesterday, just said screw it, let's go. And I did the job, and bada bing, bada boom, that's done. I'm going to take my hat off here for a second, shining on you. Mr. William has the camera. So, anyways, I just find it, I look at some of the other ag stations, and I'm like, or the ag channels on here, and I'm like, my God, when I grew corn and soybeans, we were still milking cows, and we still had to make hay for cows and things like that. So we never had time in the summer to do much. At one time in my life, I did own a boat, break out another 1,000, throw it in that hole in the water, That's about what they were. God. But I was much younger, had no children, no house, nothing, no equipment. I had nothing, but I had a boat, a wife, and a pickup truck that was about my worth. So from that point forward, of course, I continued to build up the farm and acquire and do what I've done to this point. Now, am I jealous of people that are able to say, oh, go down to an Ag Progress show or something like that? Sometimes I feel a little bit left out. I feel like, God, I wish I could just pull away. And I probably could, but my responsibilities are that of the farm. I cannot just say, you know what, you do this job while I'm off playing. I'm the kind of guy that's you, and you, let's go, let's get this job done, and then we do it. So I guess it's my own fault that I'm unable to do the things that I'd like to do in that aspect. So when it comes down to to going to these farm shows, I won't be able to do them in the summertime. But when it comes winter time, then I will have a little bit more time. You need to stop doing that. When it comes winter time, then I do have more time. Like I always take my vacation in February, and we bug out for up 2 to 3 weeks. We leave, we just go, or we take a week and then 2 weeks. It's generally 3 weeks in the middle of the winter that I take off and go someplace fun. This year, if everything goes well, I've got a meeting with some people that I need to speak with today, and that will allow me to know whether I'm going to England, Ireland, Scotland, or the United Kingdom, going to the United Kingdom to look at some tractors. More than likely, that's where I will be purchasing tractors. I will need up to 6 of them. So we have this expansion that's going on, or attempting to expand to this point. I'm going to ask for some serious dinero because the contracts that I may or may not be getting, and it all depends. This is just a preliminary, hey, this is what I want to do. Can you help me? Can't you help me? If you can't help me, then I'm going somewhere else because I need to know. So we do have a lot of things in the plans. No, I'm not stopping farming in New Jersey. No, I'm not going to you know, quit the North Carolina. I'm going to expand on that a little bit, and possibly move on up the East Coast as we leave North Carolina. It'd be easier to do that, to just say, okay, so we're leaving North Carolina, we're going to go into Virginia, from Virginia we're going to go to Maryland, from Maryland we're going to go home, you know, or I send a baler or two home and start the hay process here, and then ship those balers to the Midwest, where we will be attacking a straw contract. That's just the plans. Now, whether they come to fruition or not, I'm just gearing up for it. So yeah, so when it comes to going to these shows in the summertime, I really wish I could, but I cannot, because I am filling my plate with so much good stuff that I just can't break away from the table to go to the bathroom, as I should say. You know, that's about what it is. That's what it equates to. So I mean, it's maybe a gross analogy, maybe, you know. I fill my plate, can't leave the table to go to the bathroom. It's pretty gross, but I guess, you know, who takes a crap in the middle of eating anyway? You usually do that after you're done. But Mr. William, he craps everywhere, don't ya? You're just a quapper, right? You quap everywhere. Here, eat that. You can play with that. Electronics are always good to chew on. He's got my camera. Here's Clicky. Here, you want to play with Clicky? Here's Clicky. Clicky's still about. Clicky, no, this isn't Clicky. Clicky's over there. This is the one that got crushed behind the seat. So that's really the reason why I'm unable, or I am not going to these shows. The show in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, I may get there. I'm hoping I can, because I actually would like to see Ryan and Travis, if they're going to be out there, and you know, some of the other YouTubers. I don't know if Zach went. You know, I've never met Zach personally. I've spoken with him. The Welker boys, Nick, I've spoken with them just a tiny little bit, and it'd be neat to actually meet them face to face. Farmhand Mike, you know, there might be some filming going on. He actually sent me an email or some sort, or a text message or whatnot, to, you know, let me, you know, say, hey, when you're out here, let me know, I'll come and film the crew. So, you know, that sort of stuff is out there, and there's some opportunities to meet these people. Now, to come back to sponsorships or partnerships and things like that, I will not be doing that anymore. I did the Peckway one. That was probably the biggest one that I did, where they brought this equipment out. The equipment is still on the farm. They can come pick it up. It's fine. You know, I'm not going to purchase it. There's two reasons why I'm not going to purchase it, and I won't get into those. It was a good relationship. I am going to be making a video of the Peckway rake, and of course the tedder. I haven't used the tedder at all this year. Just no need for it. We're able to rake and bale behind, you know, we don't have to run that extra tractor over top of it for the, you know, to get it to dry out. We're getting it down to about 20-25% moisture where I want it to be, and then it steams out in a pile. We're golden. I don't need to get it down to 10%, you know, just to you know, I'm not making any money by doing that. And the profit margins in this is getting about like milk was at times, which isn't true. I mean, it's not. It could be better. Here comes my wife. Look at this. Here she comes.
Oh, you're on? Shit.
She's in her nightie. Yeah, see what I get to look at every day? It's awesome. I get my little boy, and I get my wife. She's awesome. She's actually. Did that hurt? Because that should have hurt. If it didn't hurt. Oh yeah, Mr. Electron. What'd you do with the other thing? Oh, that's down here too. Uh-oh. Here, give me that. That one's actually functional. Yeah, so what was I saying? Oh, Peckway and stuff like that. So when that equipment goes back, Titan Equipment had asked me to do some stuff, and I just made this executive decision that it's not worth it to me, and to become an influencer. See, if you're going to do product development, I'm all for that. And that's what I was supposed to do with Peckway. They were supposed to, you know, I was supposed to voice my concerns. They were supposed to send a guy out. The guy was supposed to look over the equipment, and I was supposed to point out the problems and stuff, and that never happened. It just, once I think they were out, and the guy was in a cast, and the other fellow, the owner of the company, he was there, really nice. We had these pie in the sky ideas about, you know, what we were going to be doing with his product line and how we were going to improve it, but it never came to fruition. And that's where I would be more than keen on doing a partnership with, like product development. So say, and if Krone was ever to come to me and say, hey Wesley, we hear you're going to buy a bunch of balers and we would like to give you a couple of experimental ones, or not experimental ones. We want you to run these things through the worst conditions you can possibly do here in the United States, and tell us your thoughts and what breaks, and keep us up there. I'd be all for that. But this influencer thing. See, when you're an influencer, it's all for positive influencing. I saw Welker Farms partnered with Case IH. Case IH will not even advertise on my channel. They will not. Case New Holland, CNH, CNI, they will not advertise anything at all. They just don't. I am blacklisted from their advertising, which is fine, because quite honestly, I don't support or promote Case International New Holland. I don't. After that debacle with the no rower and the baler, unless the only way that I would shut up about New Holland equipment is if they gave me $1 million. That would shut me up, because I think $1 million is enough to just shut me up. Other than that, if they gave me a piece of equipment, and said, listen, we want you to use this for free until you wear it out. That would be about 3 weeks, and you can just, this will shut you up. I'm not shutting up. $1 million in my hand. That's the only thing that would shut me up about New Holland, because I think as an informative view, New Holland equipment has gone down. Hey, equipment. Now, the tractors, honestly, I really liked the tractors. I like the New Holland combines. Jeff Raymond runs one. He had some hiccups. They fixed it, and he seems to be kind of happy with it right now. I've run New Holland combines. I've run John Deere combines. I've never ran an axle flow, but they're not for me, just because I don't like the way they would chop up the straw, and I'm not combining anymore at this time anyway. Even though I will, well, I'm not even going to say this anymore because people think I'm a liar. But the whole thing is it's just the Hayline. If they gave me $1 million and a free machine, I still wouldn't take the machine. If they gave me $1 million to shut up and not ever talk about it again, that might get me off the air about New Holland, but they won't advertise. But anyways, Welker Farms, they're partnering up with Case IH, and I guarantee you, and this is not saying anything bad about Welkers. I think that they do a great job. I think that them partnering with Case IH, you're never, ever, ever going to hear anything negative about that company, ever. If you do, it'll surprise the shit out of me. Now, how farms work, they're running JCB. And I'll let this cat out of the bag. I was talking with the fellas over in England about a JCB teleskid coming to this farm to do the work. I'm not picking that up again. You can look down there and look at it, but I'm not picking it up again. So I was talking with the fellas in England. I'm not even going to mention his name, just because it may or may not screw something up for him. But he's a little disgusted. As a matter of fact, he's completely disgusted with the way that went. And that was fine. I'm happy for Ryan and Travis and Dwight and Beth and them for getting that JCB teleskid. But in reality, if they would have sent me that machine, they knew that I would have ran it like I stole it. There would be hundreds of hours on that thing in the 6-month period of time that I would have had the machine, because it was a. But anyways, JCB North America said nope, sorry, we want How Farms Works to have it because he's a better presenter than me. I'll give it to you straight and to the point, and that's it. So if you're partnering up with these equipment companies or these seed corn companies, and they say, okay, so you're an influencer. It's just like me and WD-40. Okay, so WD-40 sent me a little box with a grease gun, a few grease cartridges, and this is our influencer box. What we want you to do is open this box on camera and say some wonderful things about it, and then we'll pay you $500 for video. You need to make 3 videos. And if you do an Instagram post, in which I did, we'll give you $200 per Instagram post. So $250 per Instagram post. That was the extent of the contract that I actually signed. So I told the man, and they changed the contract after I signed and sent it back. They came back and they're like, hey, wait a minute, we actually watched your videos and we see what you do. We need you to take the video, send it to us so we can review it before you release it. And I was like, well, that's not the contract that I cannot give you a pen. You'll poke your eye out. Here, take the crab. Take this. Anyway, I can't do that. That's not the contract that I signed. I told you in the beginning that I was going to use the products. I will give you my honest opinion. And if you don't like it, then we end it right then and there. Now, WD-40 makes a good product. I cannot complain. I did it. I made 1 or 2 videos. I think I did 1 full video with it, and I did the three Instagram posts. I could go back and look. I don't really have time. I don't care. But, oh, excuse me. But anyway, I did that, and I never received a dime because I didn't send my video to them first for review. I didn't do a bad job. I did what I told them I was going to do. Now that's fine. It's water over the dam, under the bridge, whatever the hell you want to call it. And here comes Mr. Will. Here's my handsome guy, Mr. Stinky Beans. So, so there it is with that. Now, PB Blaster, last year, they called me up and they're like, Mr. Pandy, would you like to do a partnership with us? I'm like, sure. I'll do it. I actually like PB products. I've used them. I purchased them. I've used... I'm not brand specific when it comes to this stuff. So I did this. I said, okay. And they're like, well, what we would like you to do is use our product for the summer and put all other products that you may have away so that they're not seen within the videos that you're doing, because that would be a contradiction. I'm like, well, I said, well, you do realize that I use like 500 pounds of grease a year, and I use, I use all this stuff, and I would never use PB Blaster grease in my drive lines. It is a penetrating grease. It was more for mowing decks on lawnmowers and places where there's a lot of corrosive material. It'd be awesome. It would be awesome on fertilizer spreaders because it has PB Blaster impregnated into the grease itself. So when you give that its shots, that stuff kind of leaches out. It's like a creeping oil inside there. So not for drive lines, at least the type of grease that they sent me. And I used it on certain things. I will take that stuff and they got a spray can of this penetrating white lithium grease. Beautiful product. I will honestly tell you it is a beautiful product. It works really good. I took and sprayed that on a rusty ass chain that was on, what the hell was that on now? I can't even remember. It was kind of kinky. Oh, it was on the header to the New Holland windrower. And I sprayed that stuff on there. I'm telling you, that's a good product. So I told them, I said, listen, I'll do the job. I said, but you're going to have to send me an awful lot of product. You're going to have to send me like a case of PB Blaster, cases of this stuff. And so they send me a box with a can of each, a tube of grease, and that's what's supposed to last me the entire summer. I farm 3,700 acres here in New Jersey. I baled 6,400 in North Carolina. You mean, if you think about the number of acres and the fuel, the lubricants, and all this stuff that I went through while I was down there. When I was down in North Carolina, I went through 10 cases, or 10 cartons of 10, which is 10 times 10 is 100, right? I went through 100 tubes of grease. And then my dad and Cody came down and they brought me 2 cases of 24 of the Schaefer's grease. So there's another 48. So 148 tubes of grease is what I went through. When I was done with that job, 148 tubes of grease went through those balers. That's in the auto luber and the drive lines and the tractor front ends and, you know, and the loader and everything, the wagon and all that other stuff that I did down there. 148 tubes. I might have came back with 10 less, 138 tubes. It was gone. We used it. So when they say, and that is just for that job. Now, I have gone through 5 cases. I just went over to Tractor Supply because they didn't have any more down at the local hardware store or the local Napa store where I usually buy my wheel bearing. I buy wheel bearing grease for the automatic grease guns. That's what Krone recommends, is a quality wheel bearing grease. So I bought that, and they were out. And I had been putting Red and Tacky in there. The Red and Tacky is, what is that, a Lucas product? I think it was a Lucas product. And I've been putting that through there, and I use Valvoline Crimson at times because it's really a quality grease, and I don't have bearing failures at all when it goes with that stuff. So I went over to Tractor Supply and I threw $400 worth of grease in the cart, and the woman's like, "God, how long? This ought to last you a lifetime." I'm like, "No, this is going to last me for about 4 weeks." And she's like, "Holy cow, you go through a lot of grease." I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's the business." I have a 120-pound drum that's in the shop of the Schaefer's, and my G-gun broke. So I have to, and that's something I ought to do right now, is get the G-gun. So get that fixed. There's a repair part for that, and I can go to Lock and Lube. Lock and Lube, good company. They sent me what they said they were going to do. Never heard a negative word about them. They were happy to have me on board. They sent me the stuff, just said, "Hey, here it is. Use it up, show it. Show everything. If it breaks, show it. But show that you can get the parts to fix it too." Did that. Excellent company. Have they called me back to do another thing? No, they haven't had to. Yeah, so there you go. So I will no longer be doing partnerships. I mean, if somebody wants to send me something and they say, just like Lock and Lube did, "Hey Wesley, I want you to show this online. Give us your honest opinion, beat it up, and see what happens." There you go. I'm going to do it. But to actually sign on as an influencer that is only allowed to show the positives of it, not for me, ladies and gentlemen, not for me. I'm 47 years old. I don't take this crap anymore. If you want me to lie to my viewers, you got the wrong guy. You got the wrong guy. You know, if you want me to say all the positive stuff, go to somebody that you can actually put on a chain and control, because you're not controlling me. You know, and that's just the way I am. If you don't like it, too fucking bad. Go find a new channel. I don't care. And I'm going to slurp my coffee for all these Englishmen. Anyway, so, okay, so, yeah, so I really got to get some things going on here today. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. I am late getting going. I actually do work a little bit later in the morning, because when you're a hay farmer, you can work later at night. And when you work until 10, 11 o'clock at night, or midnight, or 1, 2 in the morning, which I've done lots of times. So one day I came in at 3 o'clock. I was pretty freaking tired. And that screws the next day. So I don't really get going too early in the morning when I'm making hay. But when it's time to haul hay, when I'm putting it on a truck and hauling it myself, I'm usually up at 3 o'clock in the morning and doing that. But I go to bed earlier. So trying to avoid that traffic, it's tough. But anyhow, with that being said, yeah, I will fill y'all in later on the logistics and not so much the logistics. The logistics is hauling. The details of what I will be doing out or down south. There is the new machine, the shredder. I've had lots of people tell me that it's a piece of shit and it's going to break every day. You know, I honestly don't believe that. I've talked to people that run them. They're like, maintenance and setup. If you don't maintain it, you're going to break it. If you don't set it up properly, you're going to break it. If you are an idiot, you're going to break it. So if you're cutting, basically the setup is, don't cut the corn fodder too low. You're going to get a bunch of dirt, you're going to hit rocks, you're going to bottom the thing out, you're going to make a mess out of it. So you can't do that. So today I'm sending my father out to Messick's to pick up some baling twine. I should have sent him already. And because I've ran through it. I've ran through, you have no idea how many balls of twine I've run through. I had four pallets when I started this spring, and I went through those. Then I ordered in, I bought 4 more. That's 8. Then I went and got 2, 9, 10. And then there was 11. I've gone through 11, and I need 4 more pallets of that twine. You know, I don't need 4 more to do what I have to do. Well, I could, but I need 4 more to get started on the next one, and then I'm going to be purchasing somewhere around 10 to 13 more pallets for the fodder job. 10 to 15. Yeah. So anyway, with that being said, I'm just going to bow out of this. Anybody have any questions and stuff, leave them in the comment section below. The next time I do one of these one of these Ag Talk and Raw, I will, yeah, what am I going to do? I'm going to read the questions and the comments and stuff that are on that particular video, on this video, so that I can answer your questions. Like, you know, hey, what's the best grease? Or hey, you know, what are you going to do? You know, what's going to happen? How much you get paid? I'm not telling you. You know, and all this other happy horse shit. So, anyways, and I am absolutely. I'm going to go talk to. I got a meeting today, and then I'm going to get that all. You know, hey, this is what I want to do, and what are you going to be willing to help me when I get my contracts in order? And if you are, yay. If you aren't, because I have 2 meetings that I have to have. I have the meeting with them people, and then I got to go have the meeting with the people that are going to contract this work done. And I need to know exactly what they need me to purchase, and that will be the difference between a $2 million loan and a $5 million loan. And from that point forward, you will see shit that you never ever thought you would see on this channel. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And now you know why I'm unable to go to these shows. I will get there eventually, but not today.